it's their generation. They can take things for granted. We've tried to work hard since that win. We're trying not to let them relax. We're going to go out, and today will be a hard practice. Tomorrow we'll be ready. We'll see if we can win today.
How different is it teaching off a win opposed to constantly teaching off a loss?
There is a difference. When we watch film of the game, I was more upbeat about what they did well. But also the dilemma for me was how much of the bad do I show them? I had to show them. Because I need them to understand we won this game by 10, but that game really was closer than that. There were plays in that game where we got a break. And we made our breaks as well, but we got a break. And we can't take that for granted. We got to see where we made our mistakes. We got to know that defensively we are connected, and when we're not connected, what do we look like? The points of the game when we're not connected, it can't be to finish games. It can't be to finish halves.
I'm sure that's the Jalen Withers you hope to have all season, season high in points and rebounds. What can you do to get him, maybe not to put those same kind of numbers up again, but have the same kind of performance?
I'll tell you this, that I'm going to continue to hold him to a different standard. Probably be a little more upset when I don't get that same energy, that same rebounding intensity. I'll probably take him out because I keep saying this to him, and I'm going to let you guys in on it. I need him to see himself the way I see him. And I see him as an elite defender. I see him as an elite rebounder. I see him as a guy that should be filling up a stat sheet every night. And if he doesn't see himself that way, that's going to be a problem for me. And it has been a problem for me.
Kenny, the last couple games with Kamari, he's hit maybe his first, or I think the other night was his second shot. And it seems to be different when he gets that confidence early. Do you see that? Do you talk to him about it? I mean, because a couple games when he misses shots, he seems to get down on everything else.
Well, it's funny you talk about Kamari. Last night I was on the phone with Bam Adebayo, congratulating him on breaking the All-Star team. And we started talking about Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler is a master at drawing fouls. Kamari needs to take a page out of his book. You're shooting 90-something% from the free throw line. Why aren't you playing to drive, shot fake, draw fouls, make two? You can fill up points just by doing that. Make a layup or two, make one jump shot, get 8 free throws, 10 free throws. You're a major part of what we're doing. That should be his mindset. And after talking to Bam about it, I had our guys put together some video clips, hadn't showed them to him yet, of just how he's drawing his fouls, making people foul him. So that's something that he can do to build on, the game he just had.
It seems like with Kamari, early in the season, a lot of dribbling. He was very tentative to do pretty much anything. It's a process. It's been slow, but it seems like that continues to get better and better. Are you seeing the same thing?
I'm definitely seeing the same thing. It's way better. He's trying to play the way we need him to play, north-south. Every now and then he can't help himself. He's going to go right, go left, and I tease him and said the defender's not going to fall down for you to shoot. You're going right, you're going left, you're going back right, you're going back left, and he's still there, and you only went 2 yards either way. So he's going to be there when you get done. But he's trying, and I'm happy that he's trying. I'm happy that he recognizes he has to play a different way, and he's been trying to do that.
First, anything new on Brandon?
Nothing yet. It's been a while that we've been keep talking about this, but I'm hoping really soon that he's ready to go. We miss him and we need him.
You had said, you hope when he comes back that he sees he's got to step up his level of energy, and you've talked about Emmanuel as an example for some of those guys. Have you seen any of that yet, where guys are starting to register that they have to play up to his energy level?
Well, what I have seen is in practice, they're asking him, why are you going so hard? Why are you so physical? Stop practicing like that. I like that. The players don't know that I know that, but and he didn't even tell me that. Someone else did, but I like the fact that he's making them practice harder, play with more physicality, knowing that if you aren't paying attention, he will hit you in the mouth, he will elbow you. It's just the way the culture he's coming from and the way he's been playing in NBA Africa. They play physical, and we need that. We really do.
With already having faced Florida State earlier this season and that game being what it was, what is it that you want to try and change your overall approach preparing them for a second time so that those results don't replicate?
Well, watching the game from the first time, we talked about penetrating, finding open people, not challenging the big guy at the time who was playing major minutes, starting. He's not starting now, but the game plan doesn't change. Looking at the game that when we played them the first time defensively, we were soft. We didn't protect the paint, so they got a lot of stuff off ball screens, diving to the rim. They attacked us, put us on our heels. We turned the ball over. Some of the turnovers you can't make up. JJ takes the ball out of bounds, throw it to L, runs over L, or kicks the ball to the defender. He makes a three. I mean, you can't draw that up. So I want them to see some of the clips from that game just to recognize we can't be that bad right now. We have to be a lot better than that in that game. So I feel good about that we play a little bit better, a little bit harder, a little bit tougher, and let's see where we are after this game.
How many people have you heard from congratulating on your first conference win, and who were two or the three more interesting ones?
Larry Brown reached out. Mike Tomlin reached out. Coaches from all over the country. Good dear friend of mine, George Feldman, reached out. We talked for this morning for a little bit, who works for the San Antonio Spurs. I heard from a little bit of everybody, probably 200 people. Former players, they all reached out. I went to see Denny today, talked to Susan and him about what we're trying to do and how we continue to try to bring this along, and hadn't let go of the rope, still fighting. Want him to and her to be alive to watch us make a big jump, to see this program that he poured so many years in do represent him. And it's hard because these kids have no idea of the work that went into this program before they got here. And we're trying to educate them on that as well.
Kenny, one thing on Kamari and the free throw shooting. As you know, in the NBA, people often look at that free throw shooting as an indicator of how you might shoot the ball down the road. Do you think the jump shot is coming for him, and does that give you any extra confidence in it?
I'm a little different when it comes to that. I just think that as a basketball player, you have to score a multitude of ways. If you're dependent on strictly jump shots, that's a hard way to play this game. You got to get fouled. You got to get layups. You got to get post-ups. I don't care if you're a guard or a big. You got to find a way to score different ways. And for Kamari, there's one thing that stands out far more than anything else, his percentage from the free throw line. Then, kid, draw as many fouls as you can and still play north-south. Get to spots, shot fake, flop if you have to. I don't care what you do. Get to that free throw line and go make 2 free throws and get out of there. So probably the best way I can answer that is that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Player's just going to be L, okay? Okay. Yeah, and when he was talking to people in the stand, well, during the game.
Hey, El, the guys who were in here the other night were talking about that it was your idea to give Kenny the ball. I wondered, one, why that struck you and why that was important to you, and then two, if you could just address a little bit what your relationship has been like with him over the course of this year.
Yeah, it was my idea. I mean, just to get KP his first win in the ACC, I feel like that was real big. Man, like, we got a really good relationship. I mean, like, he goes over and beyond to help me. Like, he put the ball in my hands this year. Like, I mean, he's done did everything he can, like, to put me in the right position to show everybody, like, how good of a guard that I can be this year. So, I mean, like, that's why every night, like, no matter what the score is, like, I try to play as hard as I can because I know at the end of the day, like, he really cares about each and every one of us. And I know that would be a lifelong relationship that I have with him.
El, so many times this year, you guys have had to learn, and they've been trying to teach after a loss. To finally to learn and to be able to teach after a win, has that been a pickup for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Like, just for us to get that win, you know, like, I felt that was big for us. I mean, like, we go through a lot every day, each individual. Like, I mean, this is the hardest thing I think any one of us has ever had to go through with our basketball career. So for us to be able to get that win after all the lessons that we've had to learn after each loss, and for each of those lessons that we have, for it to equate to a win, like, I feel like that was big.
Yeah. After the game, what was your primary emotion? Was it jubilation, relief, or motivation that you guys can keep this going, or how did it settle across you?
Really a little bit of everything, you know. Just to get that win, just to have that winning feeling again, like it was a relief for sure. And I do feel like it can lead to more. We just have to believe in ourselves. Like, we have to go into every game with that confidence that, like, we're a good team. Like, no matter our record, like, we can beat anybody. If we just play hard for 40 minutes, I feel like we can stay in a game with anybody.
Following up on that, El, you feel like that win did put you in position to
Yeah, for sure. I feel like getting that win will, like, yeah, I think it gives everybody just a different hope, a different relief that, like, man, like, yeah, it's the second half of the season. Like, we still got the ACC tournament coming. Like, we get some wins. Like, we get together, we come together even more. Like, we can mess around and, like, win 4 games at the ACC tournament. So.
El, what can you guys take away from the first time you met Florida State, not to replicate this time around, to hopefully have a different outcome?
They're a really tough defensive team. They get out in transition. We really got to be in gaps. Like, we got to help each other defensively, like, not leave each other on the island. And we got to really take care of the ball. I feel like we've been trying to do that better, but we got to make sure, like, we take care of the ball against Florida State because they score a lot off transition and a lot off the turnovers that they create.
Kenny mentioned that after the win, the energy in practice is noticeably different. You guys seem a lot more upbeat. Like, how much more confident does that make you guys, knowing that, like, practice seems a little bit more loose?
Nah, it ain't loose, but it's not loose at all. But we do have like a different feeling, you know, going into that practice, like, man, after a win. It's hard, like, you know, getting up for practice, like, when you know things just aren't going your way. But I feel like guys have did a really good job, like, of still coming to practice, like, trying their best, even though things aren't going their way. So I'm just happy that, like, we really did get that win the other night, because I feel like guys are in a different headspace, you know.
Jalen had his best game, 19 points, 13 boards, which were both season highs. What, as a point guard, what can you do, or you and your teammates do to get him to continue to perform at that kind of level?
Man, you got to stay on Jalen, man. Man, you got to stay on Jalen. But, I mean, I've been trying to do that all season, you know, like, just give him that confidence. I mean, he's done the same thing, like, just try to give him that confidence, tell him, like, that he's one of the best players in the ACC when he wants to be. And, I mean, that showed the other night. Like, when Jalen is himself, like, he's one of the best players in the ACC. And I just feel like if he just keeps that mindset that he has and not thinking so much and just going out there and play, like, he can be who he was, like, each and every game. And I'm just going to continue to find him, you know, keep telling him, like, bro, shoot the ball, like, whenever you're open. I mean, I don't even care if it's a bad shot. I'd rather you shoot a bad shot than you think and turn it over. So I just feel like he just has to keep that mindset that he has right now. Like, he's in a really good headspace, and I feel like the guys really do believe in him, and I do myself, and I know the coaching staff do. Yes, sir.